and welcome to the Social Justice News. And we are your hosts. I'm Hannah.
I'm Olivia, and today's social injustice is child abuse.
Oh, honey, how was work? Good. What would you like for dinner? Oh. Mom!
Yeah, just a second, honey. I need to take care of something really quick. What?
Can you fix this for me?
Now listen here, you ungrateful little brat. You're gonna start showing your loving mother a little respect.
Ow.
Let's go.
Ow. Outside! Thanks for ruining my important phone call! Stay warm.
Get out of there, you stupid whore! Leave me alone! What are you doing? Getting all made up, you stupid whore! I can't take this anymore! Get out of there, Holly! Damn it, Holly, open the door! I know you're in.
As you can see, child abuse is prevalent in today's society, and it is very heartbreaking.
This occurs when a caregiver does not properly raise their children physically, emotionally, sexually, or through neglect. Children all over the world suffer from abuse every year, affecting the way the child develops and grows. They carry their pain in the way they treat others, through work, relationships, and even in their own families. The most common form of abuse is neglect. For example, malnutrition, children left unsupervised, lack of medical care, and emotional comfort are missing in these kids' childhood.
In the U.S., more than 4 children die from abuse and neglect on a daily basis. Over 70% of these children are under the age of 3.
In order to better understand this, we met up with an agency that helps with this issue.
They are called Family Counseling Shelters and Services of Monroe County. It is an office that has counseling, therapy, and a 24/7 hotline. They are all available for free.
What struck our attention was this place called the Sunrise House, which is connected to the agency. This is a place where they help children and women escape their homes of abuse.
We had a tour at their main public office on La Pleasance Road with their executive director, Crystal Martin.
Unfortunately, we were unable to film this tour due to the privacy of those who were there for counseling.
The office was similar to a doctor's office until you get to the back where there are multiple rooms.
The counseling rooms were colorful, comfortable, and very welcoming. They also had large meeting rooms for those who wanted to go to a support group. On the tour of the agency, we noticed how friendly and kind all of the workers were to us. They even gave us a complimentary bag and a coloring book and a huge packet of all the information we need to better understand what they do.
I really enjoyed how colorful all the rooms were because it made it seem like an appealing place for a child where they can feel safe and welcomed. We had the chance to sit down and meet with the executive director, Crystal Martin. So can you give us a brief overview about how who started the agency and how it's evolved over the years?
Okay, well, yeah, we started in 1966, and originally we had our counseling office. So to get the exact name of what we were, it was a little different name before we added the shelter. Okay. So, but we started out doing our counseling services in the 1980s is when we started with the domestic violence shelter. Okay. So we've had that since then. We've been in the United Way agency since 1967, so they are a really big supporter of family counseling. They pick agencies that are meeting the needs that are specifically for Monroe County. So through all the surveys that are done and statistics and everything, this is an area that is definitely needed in our county, unfortunately. So like I said, we've been around since 1966. We actually have 3 divisions. So one of the divisions is our domestic violence shelter. So it's an emergency shelter, and it's for women and children who are in immediate danger of an intimate partner. And that's kind of the criteria when it comes to federal grants and things like that of why they stay there. So it's a 18-bed house, So it's not like in the movies where you see a bunch of cots all, laid out in a row and everyone's in a shelter. It's actually, we have individual family rooms. So when families do come, they actually can stay with just their family in their room, and there's a TV in every room, and they all have their beds and everything. We don't, say if there's only 3 in a family and there's 4 beds, we don't put a 4th person in there. So we keep it so they can keep their family unit intact. And then we have a single ladies room as well. So there's five bedrooms total. While they're there, everything is 100% free, and it's a 90-day shelter. Sometimes it's a little longer if they're about to get housing and they need to stay a little extra time, but everything is 100% free. So they have free food, free clothing, free shelter, free counseling. So we have licensed therapists that come over and do weekly counseling sessions with the women and the children. There's group counseling sessions, parenting classes, all types of different classes that we have over there. There's free legal services, so we can help with PPOs, personal protection orders, if they need that. We have a case manager who helps them find housing, find childcare, jobs, but the whole basis of it is empowerment. So we give them the tools, and then they take those tools and do what they may with them. But 1 out of 7 tend to go back to their abuser, and so like 7 times on average is what I should say. So what we're trying to do during their 90 days there is, kind of like I said, give them those tools, but have other things that are going to keep them from, trying to get them on a better path, so that maybe will lessen the average of how often, somebody would go back to their abuser. So it's kind of everything we do there.
Right.
And then our counseling division, which is this office, we do all types of counseling. So we do obviously domestic and sexual violence counseling, but we do everything. It could be for suicidal, anxiety, depression, and we do from 4 years old to 104. So, so men, and this will be men, women, children, couples, families, whatever. And then we do have a little bit of our 3rd division, which is Domestic and Sexual Violence Support Services Division. Very long title, but our sexual assault advocate, who's full-time, is here in this office, and we can do forensic interviews for children who've been either sexually or physically abused. And so because we took over the Child Advocacy Center about 3 years ago, and so interviews can be done here, and then anybody who's involved in the case, like CPS, the detectives, anybody with the prosecutor's office, they'll sit in another room and they'll watch the interview be, taking place while maybe the detective is, doing the interview. And then our advocate will be with the family to kind of like give them resources that are in the community. The advocates are totally free, so basically everything's 100% free. Here we do take all types of insurances, but if we don't take your insurance, we will do it on sliding fee scale, so you can have a counseling session as low as $20. So in all aspects, pretty much we're 100% free in everything that we do. So as you see, there's a lot of different ways that we help with child abuse.
Right,
Not only with, and it could just be, mental, emotional, physical, that we would deal with here at the counseling office, but obviously over at the shelter. Most of the time, it'll tend to be women who are the ones that are physically or mentally or emotionally abused, but the children are seeing all that, and it has a huge effect on, who they develop as a person. So that's why while they're there, we're trying to get them in with counseling and to try to stop that cycle of abuse, because a lot of times if you see that, then you tend to grow up and you either are with somebody that's abusive, or you tend to be that way. So
Are there any other careers or anything that are available within the agency, and do they need a type of licensure, work experience with that besides having therapists?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we do have. So all our counselors are licensed therapists, so they're master degree level. So we have LLPCs, which is limited license practitioners, or we have a full license. We do have an LMSW, which is limited license master's degree social work level.
Right, okay.
But we also, our domestic violence advocate, she has a bachelor's degree, we try to, usually say our legal advocate, she has a degree in criminal justice type thing. So there's certain jobs that it's good to have maybe a background education wise or experience. you know, it's like we definitely promote education, but if you have experience, you don't necessarily have to have that.
Right.
But licensure wise, it's basically our counselors that would be
Okay.
what you're looking at. So.
And then how many people would you say that you serve, like, probably per year, if you had to, like, make an estimate?
We tend to be around 4,500 shelter nights a year, and that's just our shelter. Right now, we had, what was it? I think we had 80 new clients just for the counseling office this quarter, just in 3 months. And we have over 200 on a regular basis.
As you heard, this agency has helped so many kids and families in our hometown. They were able to provide us with a service opportunity.
And this came with a lot of guidelines because of how serious the topic is.
When we went to the agency to do service, we met with the volunteer coordinator, Dana Marshall, where we filled out our forms and went through background checks in order to help the children in the shelter. She gave us packets and folders to inform us all about the service work.
But when it comes to volunteers, you kind of go through a little bit of the same process that, say, our shelter advocates do, because everybody who's at the shelter, they go through 40 hours of training before they're kind of on their own and, you know, working as an advocate over there. An advocate kind of needs to know how to be there as an emotional support and just helping them through, you know, getting better while they're there. So there's 40 hours of training. I mean, it includes like videos, readings, you know, working with another shelter advocate who's been working there. We also have the 24/7 crisis hotline. So advocates have to answer that. So that's something that you really need a lot of training on. So when you're a volunteer, you kind of have similar trainings, not necessarily with the crisis hotline, but with other aspects. Because if you're going to be over there, and obviously you have up to 18 people that are walking around while you're over there doing what you're doing, you know, you kind of have to know what is domestic violence, you know, maybe just different aspects of it, and maybe what to expect. And so Dana, who's our volunteer coordinator, who's from the VOCA grant, she, you know, helps, you know, do the trainings and kind of give you some ideas.
Hey guys, we just volunteered for the first time at the center where the women and the children get to stay when they're in abusive situations.
And we got to work with the kids for their Halloween party today.
So the Halloween party, we played a bunch of games, we painted pumpkins, we ate some snacks. There was about 5 kids there.
Yeah, so not too many, but it was like pretty much one family.
So now our thoughts on it was weird because we don't know how to deal with children who have been abused and grown up in a home where their trusted loved ones aren't good to them.
So we wanted to make sure that we were careful, like when we worked with them and stuff, because like we didn't want to like make it a bad situation, because this is one of the rare moments where they get to celebrate holidays and things like that.
And they haven't been shown love the way kids should be shown. So we have to make sure we're very nice to them and compliment them and show them love that they never feel or get. Alright, so we just came back from our second time going to the child abuse house, and it was just us two this time with a bunch of kids, and we got to play with them and make crafts and stuff.
Yeah, and like some did homework and stuff. Like it was just a normal school night for them, which was kind of cool just to see how they do their own routine and stuff.
Laid back, they ate dinner, we got to hang out and talk to them a lot more. And I guess what we took away from it today is it's just really sad to leave them behind, because like the little boy I was playing with, he was laughing so much and hugging me, and he kept asking like, can you stay longer, and are you gonna come back, please come back, we like you. Like it just breaks my heart.
And then one that stuck with me was that there was this older boy, like I think he was like a freshman, and he said that he had a girlfriend, and I asked him like if he's gone on any dates or anything like that, and he said no, because he's worried that she'll want to come back to his house, and he's kind of embarrassed about his situation, and he doesn't want her to see like where he lives and how everything works, and he doesn't want to like show that part of him, which is just really heartbreaking for all of us.
Yeah, it's really sad to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think it was a good experience though, because we got to get to know them a little more, because it was the same kids from the Halloween party, so I enjoyed it a lot. But.
Yeah, it was super interesting and I really liked it, so.
The agency portrays portrays the Catholic social teaching of call to family, community, and participation.
This is because we're supposed to strengthen and love our family, not abuse them. And as a community, we're supposed to help each other when we need it and to respect all of those people. Although the service work does not solve the injustice itself, it is a charitable act because we are helping the kids in Monroe County who have experienced abuse in their homes.
The agency and service work is so valuable because we're able to take it on to the next step of our lives. As long as you fill out a background check, we can volunteer whenever we want, even in college.
There are many ways to help look for the signs of child abuse during any time of your life. There's an app called Child Protector that allows you to select an injury such as internal abdominal injury, burns, fractures, head injury or bruising, and the history of assessment. You can indicate all the details the child experienced in getting that injury, like for example, the characteristics, the physical condition, the age, how many siblings, and the cause of the incident. Just by selecting these by what you have noticed about a certain situation with the child, it'll show you whether they believe it is a child abuse or not, and recommendations of what to do if it is. This app allows people like us to help prevent child abuse from happening by being observant and reporting the signs.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Social Justice News.
Tune in next week for more. Hey guys, it's Hannah. We have one more thing we want to do before we end this video. Follow me. This is my dad. Because the agency was so helpful and kind to us during this project, we wanted to help them out. They do most things for free and count on people to donate and volunteer in order for their business to run. They need things for the shelter home, such as toilet paper, laundry detergent, toiletries, first aid items, and more. Many of the families that stay in the shelter house come with nothing but the clothes on their back, so they also take clothes donations. I encourage all of you to give your stuff that you no longer want to this agency. This is when I asked my dad to go into the bank account he has put aside for donations. I asked him if he could generously donate to our agency in order to help them out. We donated $1,000 to them for their services and their battle to help those suffering from the injustice of child abuse.
Anytime a heart turns from darkness to light, anytime temptation comes and someone stands to fight, anytime somebody lives to serve and not be served, I know God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. Anytime in weakness someone falls upon their knees, or dares to speak the truth that sets men free. Anytime the choice is made to stand upon the word, I know God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. I see a generation standing on the truth in each and every nation. God is on the move. Anytime the gospel stirs a searching soul, and someone says, "Send me here,"